So, title says it all. We got the pedal to the metal, running straight into the writing on the wall. And I think that pretty much says it all, guys. And this week, the Lakota are going to be in town. It's important that we see them. I'm just going to spout off a bunch of statistics. We've already lost 90% of humanity's seeds, heirloom seeds. That's like the pinnacle work of all of mankind. Thank you, Monsanto. Uh, we now have like over 400 parts per million CO2 content in the Earth's atmosphere when we're supposed to have 350 for a stable climate. And we're continuing to exploit petroleum and actually increase that. The XL pipeline will triple U.S. Basically the carbon footprint of the world. It's already leaking all over Arkansas. We had a busted pipe underwater. What was that? 2011, right? BP. Uncountable ecological destruction from that. Entire ecosystems destroyed permanently. Entire economies destroyed. After New Orleans had what? A hurricane? Oh yeah, and we had this other thing called Sandy, right? Okay. I'll spat off a few. Oh yeah, a Texas university did a causal experiment study, or not experiment, but a causal study that determines the causality unequivocally of hydrofracking's connection to seismic activity. You know, blowing crap up really like deep underground bedrock. Yeah, when near seismic fault lines and things, it causes earthquakes, right? Okay, so we're fracking too. Oh yeah, we putting gas in water. Is that yeah? So this human stupidity, this human ignorance that causes birth defects, that causes cancer. The GMOs recently were found by a university over in Mexico to, I mean, it actively these GMO seeds, these GMO foods actively um, disrupt the regulation of RNA. RNA is ribonucleic acid, or what is RNA? I know DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. RNA is the regulator of our DNA, a ribonucleic acid that basically helps our DNA express itself into physical proteins. So like the DNA, the word of God, okay, like the most beautiful, perfect amalgamation of life on earth, right, is being disoriented. And when we eat this food, these RNA inhibitors affect our DNA and cause cancer. Okay. We're losing 200 species a day. Okay. Um, and we're fanning the flames, right? Fanning the flames like a bunch of goddamn apes. What are we, cavemen? Are we cavemen? Because it seems like we are. I mean, every single car that goes by, it's got thousands of explosions going on inside. And then, like where's electricity coming from this? It's from coal. But you try to go out there and do something else, and then you like have to sell your soul, or it gets trampled. So like Solaqua, right upstate, a fellow Bard alumni, who's in charge of this. 10,000 square feet of manufacturing space. They do photovoltaic, solar thermal, and also biodiesel, which has been also shut out by these horrible gas companies, right? That they're being they're being destroyed by Goldman Sachs, which is like taking all this stuff from China, these photovoltaics from China, artificially depressing those prices because of this currency war that we still have. So there's currency war is happening internationally between BRIC, which is the uh, um, Brazil, Russia, um, what the hell is the other one? Uh, India and China, right? Trying to challenge the World Bank. You got the World Bank, which ain't too fun, and then you got the TPP, which is the 600 largest companies on the planet, which a lot of them are petroleum companies, trying to basically shove their giant cock down the United States' throat and say, yeah, your constitution blows ass and doesn't mean anything if you do. If you go against our profit margins, we'll sue you in our international like sodomy court. Um, the United States is literally just sitting there getting kicked in the balls over and over and just being like, oh, I'm sorry, did I hurt your foot? Ugh. Okay? And that doesn't mean like usually the response for people is like, I'm gonna kill some people, I'm gonna kill some black people, cause they're the ones, it's Obama, and then rah! and or the other option is like, it's the elites and the global ruling class, and it's so it's a conspiracy, and it's like, guys, we all have a part to play in this, and we don't have to be violent to be brave. It's far more difficult, as the Iroquois chiefs told the founders of this country to be unified. It's far harder to be peaceful. That's what Oren Lyon said to us. He said, you will accomplish nothing if you do not work as one, right? If we do not support Idle No More, what are we? If we don't support it full throttle, the voice of the women and of the indigenous, whilst this world is going headstrong into the writing on the wall. Okay. I said okay enough. It's just some facts. There's more. Some of the other facts that are pretty interesting. Yeah, you and I have the technology that our ancestors would like have a stroke over trying to even understand it in terms of its power. 3 billion people on the planet have access to text messaging. Even more and more and more having access to the internet. We have things like open source ecology, the global village construction set, homemade solutions for water heating, a solar thermal water heating. You've got like solar ovens galore. You've got the permaculture popping up in Amman, Jordan, in saline, hyper desertified space. So we can grow paradise in deserts, and it's being shared at lightning speed. We have the local Bill of Rights to reset like the entire government of the planet, one tiny town at a time, on human rights and responsibilities. We got the open source imperative brought to the United Nations, right? We've got this. We've got God. We have life. So it's time to get up and no longer be in strife, but literally surrendering ourselves to the higher powers of love and compassion and self-sacrifice.